जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
হায়দ্রাবাদ 50 এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
Well, it's a happy day. Why is it a happy day? Because it's a Sunday. It's a day off for you and for us as well. Because honestly, this is not work. This is fun. We're watching cricket, chatting about cricket with friends. Come on, can't get better than that. Nice little coffee right here. Life's good, man. Life's good. You're watching Cricbuzz Live, who tagline of our show is Life's good. From now on, I've just made it up, but it sticks. I'm Gaurav Kapur, with me Simon Doull and Adam Gilchrist from last night, carrying on from 30 minutes ago.
Still here.
Still
Doesn't seem that long. I got 18 holes in this morning though, so that's fine. Plenty of time for a Gilly had
Golf.
a,
He's
Gilly
talking
had a
about
run.
golf.
Gilly had a run. I played golf. We had plenty of time to get over it.
Yeah.
Life is good. We've got the double header too.
Double header. We haven't been having too many double headers, and I know that sometimes for us, working on a double header the day becomes pretty long. But I know for the fans are really missing the Saturday double headers. It's a longer IPL this time, so no Saturday double headers.
They could have cut it short, couldn't they? They could have made it a week earlier, I think, if they'd sort of pushed a few more double headers in. But they decided to just lengthen it out. Not too many doubles on a Saturday. Yeah. The afternoon games are tough for the fans too. You know, at this time of year, and the deeper you get into the tournament, those sort of 3:30 starts are pretty tough for the fans. It's pretty warm. Some of the grounds don't have coverage, so I can understand.
I would add to that. I know from a playing point of view, back in the first 6 editions, it felt like a different format almost, and broad sunshine. Drier conditions, obviously June never coming into it really. It did feel like a different format from then going into the evening game. So
and fielding first in Chennai in an afternoon game.
they're the ones that. It's funny, the hamstring went around there. You guys go out. I'll sit this one out and I'll catch up in the nice evening of Hyderabad.
Well, there's 2 games today. Of course, the evening game is Classico. Needs no introduction. Mumbai playing Chennai. 5 trophies, playing 5 trophies. MS Dhoni playing Rohit Sharma. Rituraj Gaikwad playing Hardik Pandya. Sorry, just a little correction on my factory settings. Takes a little time. But the first game is the one we're talking about right now, happening at the Eden Gardens. This one is Kolkata Knight Riders playing the Lucknow Super Giants. Now, both the teams are coming off a loss. KKR have had a little time to stew in it. They've had about 6 days since they played their last game. And Lucknow played their last game, I think it was an hour ago. And now they're playing this one. So they've not had much time and they hit the ground running. But let me tell you a piece of trivia which is staggering. It's shocking, Gilly. It's shocking.
What's that?
Is that in the history of the IPL, Kolkata has never beaten Lucknow. Never.
Really?
Staggering.
Never.
How many times have they matched up?
Thrice. They've played 3.
That's a 3 and a duck egg, eh?
3, yes. But I feel like the line we used first, I think that's in a clickbait kind of era, I think that works more.
Yeah.
But the truth is it's 3 games. And when it's 3 games, nobody kind of looks at that head to head and gets worried, right?
Well, you don't get worried, but if you've had success and you've got similar players, you go into it feeling pretty good, no matter what the conditions are and where you are. I think there's always something in going to play a team that you know you generally beat or that you know you can beat or have beaten. And if they've never been able to get across the line against you, you feel like you're walking there a bit taller, a little bit smarter. And, there's always something in it. If you're a coach or a captain, there's something to look back on and say, boys, these guys haven't troubled us in all 3 games.
But Gotham Gambiers on the other dugout this time. So that adds a nice little flavour to this.
I love it, right? I love it. He's the guy. Gotham would probably start his speech saying, listen, we've beaten them thrice in the IPL. And they'll go,
we got their measure.
And he changed sides late too.
Yeah.
He had all the intel on LSG.
Yeah.
He certainly did. I think Justin Langer had a real surprise.
Oh, I can imagine.
The first few meetings they had, him as new coach was with GG involved.
Yeah.
We're going to do it this way, we're going to plan that way. And then all of a sudden gets a text that he's out.
Yeah.
So, he's taken a little bit of the IP, a bit of the information with him.
bit of the intel goes.
Yeah.
I reckon.
But I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons why Kolkata got Gautam Gambhir from Lucknow, because they've never beaten Lucknow in the IPL, in the history. Okay, I've oversold it now. But I'm going to ask about the home advantage, right? Because that's another thing, and we've always kind of debated it when, here on Cricbuzz Live, saying how much of a home advantage really is there now, because every player is playing on every kind of surface all through the year, all through the world.
Yeah.
Is there really such a thing? And I'm asking because KKR play like their next bunch of games at home because of the elections, today's and the next 4. So they're playing 5 on the trot at home in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, there they are, the 5 home games. So that's nice. You get to stay in your one room, your one hotel. You could get your creature comforts right if that's something that helps you play and perform better. But it's all about perception, as far as I'm concerned. Home grounds and an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee you anything. There's so much in this game that people think is going to mean someone's going to win. It's like, I remember John Buchanan in World Cups when we were going through undefeated, and you get to the semi-final or the first knockout game, and he'd say, right, does anyone think that we have to lose a game? And I used to be like, oh, yeah, I hate it. It's all perception. It's all myth. There's no reality to any. All having a perfect record up to this point has given us an opportunity to play a semi-final back in that World Cup. And it's about, so Calcutta, the Knight Riders I'll go with, they've got this opportunity now to build a perception that ground is a tough place to come and play them.
Yeah.
That's all it is, no certainty, no guarantee. In fact, their numbers in recent times, I think going back to, was it 2014, they're the only team to win the IPL with a negative win-loss ratio of home games.
Yeah.
And their last few years haven't stacked up. Was it last year?
Last year they won 2 and 5. Last year they were 2 and 5 at home.
So there was a quote, wasn't there, from Shreyas Iyer after the Chennai match where he said, we know our home conditions well. We're going to have...
that was captain speak, eh?
That's fine.
That's
fine. But again, this is about perception.
Yep.
He's saying, we know our home conditions pretty well. Well, you know them, but you haven't actually been playing them very well.
Yeah.
So it's all that, throwing lines out there, it's the perception of what you're trying to create for teams to step into.
I think the first point was probably one of the most relevant ones, Gilly, was you get to actually just unpack your suitcase. And you saw those dates there. They got 16 days in the same hotel room, no airports. You jump on a team bus, they stay at a nice hotel, you just go to the ground for training and you go into the ground for games for 15 days, 16 days. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the big things. So teams are flying in. You might get a team that's played like Lucknow 2 nights ago. So you might try and take advantage of that. So from a personal point of view, that's always nice. I mean, it's been great sitting in a hotel down the road and just coming to the Cricbuzz studios and not having to travel around the country.
Perfect.
Those little creature comforts, I think, they're one of the big differences from a playing and a personal point of view, not having to get up for an early bus or an early flight, any of those little things. So, and then if you can get on a roll, then all of a sudden those team trainings become a bit more fun. Yeah. You enjoy going to the ground and you feel like you can make it a bit of a home and make it a place where it's tough to win. But I agree with the point about, it doesn't guarantee you anything. Yeah, playing at home doesn't guarantee you. More local fans, yes. Yeah, fair. And same bed for 15 days, which is sometimes quite
But the fans is a good point too, because it's not much fun playing in front of your home fans if you're not winning. No. Yeah. So you're right. This game is a vitally important one for them. Even though they're 3-1, they're going, well, KKR. But if they can get this, and knowing the rest of the tournament's watching, seeing the crowd engage, they play well at home. Oh, hang on, they got 4. Well, geez, we're travelling up there in a couple of days. All of a sudden, again, perception.
Correct. Like the perception with Chepauk, right? It's difficult to beat Chennai in Chepauk, so that's the kind of perception you build. And the thing is that even if, the home fans or the Calcutta fans are not supporting the team, you just throw in a Shah Rukh Khan there and suddenly everybody is behind the team, right? So it's a good magic ingredient to have, it really is. But I love the point of creature comforts that both of you make, because even while doing the IPL for Sony as opposed to doing it at Cricbuzz Studio, which is 20 minutes from home, the difference of just not having to schlep it from ground to ground and just, flights are tougher, delays and stuff. And I agree, it's very comfortable, but still, just the whole act of doing everything, and now multiplied exponentially if you're a player, right? I mean, we've got easy gigs, right? You're kind of sitting and talking or standing and talking, but multiplied exponentially. So I think these small things can really kind of make a difference. Can they make a difference today for Lucknow? Lucknow, who would have probably got on a flight yesterday. I don't know if they would have had a training session. So they played the night game. I mean, they're playing in less than 48 hours. This doesn't happen a lot in a 10-team tournament. Can it rattle you, Gilly? You would have done this a lot during your 6 years that you were here.
Yeah.
It can rattle you a bit, right?
It is. I think maybe every year some team had to do it, and it is different. It is a really quick turnaround. So you just look at that draw, and already, you at the start of the tournament, you go, oh, we're going there, and we play them there, and then it's a 3-game road trip, and you, whoa, hang on, what? As you say, within 48 hours, we're playing again. So it's been in the subconscious for quite a while already. So then coming off a loss. So, that's going to take a huge mental effort to get around, psychological effort to get over that hurdle, and let alone the physical toll. And we'll have to wait and see what the playing lineups are, whether there's any physical toll that's brought about any change.
You know JL very well. They wouldn't have had a naughty boy training or anything like that after a loss.
No.
He's not that guy, is he? So you asked about the training with I don't think they would have. It would have been just like a warm down session. They might have gone to the pool
and
had a bit of fun, played a bit of volleyball, had a good stretch and get ready to go today. But he wouldn't have. JL wouldn't have had a naughty boy session.
He would have wanted one. When he was playing. He was
a little bit grumpy, short man syndrome. A little bit grumpy. But
he's trying to be more peace-loving mum beans now, and he's coaching JL.
He's a top man.
We 6-footers can make fun of the what's the correct term for it? The vertically challenged.
That's it.
Right? That's the politically correct term. All right. The reason I've always personally as a fan been interested in this and how it makes a difference. I know that sometimes you can even cynically look at it and say, oh, what are they complaining about? It's first-class flights and they get paid so much money and it's just a 20-over game. Agreed. When compared to all of us sitting on couches, yes. But when there's two teams playing such a high level of cricket with the margin of error being so little that separates them, these small things can sometimes really make a big difference. Well, let's have a look at what the teams have done, right? As we said, of course, Lucknow playing Kolkata today. And the toss, we'll go with the Lucknow 11 because they've made a change. So let's have a look at them. Well, they've made 2 changes. Well, they'll be happy that Mohsin Khan has come in. So he's back in the team. And of course, we were talking about this last night, and here it is. This is, of course, their batting 11 because the Knight Riders have won the toss and they've opted to bowl. Shamar Joseph has come in for Naveen ul Haq. And Dooley, we discussed this yesterday. I was kind of suggesting that, and you were absolutely right in saying Naveen ul Haq hasn't done much wrong. But I think they just want to, sometimes you just want to just shake it up.
Well, the X factor for them in those first couple of games was Yadav, wasn't it? So extra pace. And Naveen doesn't have that pace. He's got skill and a lot of skill. 3 overs, 1 for 28 in the last game. He's gone at just over 9 in the tournament. He's been okay for them. But Mike Yadav was that sort of X factor. 150 clicks, and that's Shamar Joseph. So maybe that's what they're looking at and thinking we need someone with that, that sort of pace to ruffle some feathers on what might be a fairly good flat batting surface. So I understand the change. It's pretty tough though on Naveen. He's been decent, more than decent in the tournament. So, but pleased to see. I mean, you would have seen him down under. It looked good, didn't it?
Brilliant.
It looked good. I mean, that for the West Indies to win that Test match was phenomenal. Yeah. And
what a story!
He bowled beautifully.
Yeah. Oh, that was fairy tale stuff. To be there and witness that was just one of those moments that cricket can produce where you go, wow, I was so honoured and thrilled to be there. So, this is exciting. This is great. And again, Naveen, maybe it is a tight turnaround thing. And just saying, okay, well, we'll just put him on ice. Let's see the youngster, give him a crack. Long tournament.
Yeah, long tournament. let's bring that batting 11 up again for Lucknow. They are batting first. So we of course got very excited about Shamar Joseph. But the other thing there is no Devdutt Padikkal. We spoke about this last night. We said he may get another chance, and that might just be his last one. But well, they decided that the last one was his last one. So he's out, and Deepak Hooda comes in. So now I'll be very interested to see, Gilly, what they do with their batting order. You know my obsession with batting orders. So interesting to see what they do. Perhaps Stoinis 3, Puran 4. He's not in the impact subs as well.
No, he's not. Now, I'll tell you who is in the impact subs, though, is Pereira Mankad. So they have got the option, got enough bowling already, because Stoinis obviously bowls.
Yeah.
Krunal, they've got enough bowling options there maybe already to bring Mankad in, maybe and bat him at 6 or 7.
Fair.
And then leave Deepak Hooda out.
Also,
after he gets out. So that's an option, or they can bring a bowler in.
Great point. They could bring Arshad in as well, because he was pretty handy at number 8 last time.
Yeah, correct.
With Badoni.
So he offers you a bit of both at least, Arshad. So they've got good options in their substitutes, the impact players.
It's very clever because they've also got Maniwal and Siddharth, who they've opened the bowling with a lot of times. I think about 3 games they got him in the power play. So it's great for them because they can see how the pitch is playing. They can get a quick, or they can get.
They did bring the batting impact player in, didn't they, last game when they were under?
Deepak Hooda came in.
Yes,
Deepak Hooda
he came in as
there. Siddharth couldn't get in there.
Yes.
And then Stoinis had to bowl and pant reverse. Sort of lapped him for 6.
This seems a lot more thought out in terms of options. Right? They've thought it out. It still looks like they might go, Gilly, with Stoinis 3, Puran 4.
Who was Stoinis last time? 4, wasn't he? Because Padikkal came at 3. Well, we'll wait and see. Stoinis is open for most of his career in Big Bash cricket. So he knows a new ball. He's not foreign to going in there in a power play situation. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes and what happens to him. It's a very interesting lens on Marcus Stoinis' career at the moment, being left off the contract list for the Australian Cricket Australia contracts. I'm not sure whether he knows or whether the Australian selectors know if he's in the T20 World Cup squad or if he's in the 11. I think he'll probably be in the squad, but whether he's in the starting lineup remains to be seen. But he's shown glimpses. He's been couple of games hot, couple of games colder. So his shot selection straight away to Kuldeep in Kuldeep's first over against Delhi Capitals opened the door. Then it meant that Nicky Puran's door opened up and Kuldeep waltzed on through. But I think there's enough belief from JL that he'll back him in to let him go in there and face as many balls as possible.
You know, the other interesting thing is it's not just Australia future, you're also looking at the IPL future because this is the 3-year contract. He had a very lucrative contract, very important contract with Lucknow. He was the 2nd draft pick and he needs to do enough this year to ensure that if not 2nd, maybe a 3rd retention or a 4th, because at this point in time it's looking tough. If you were to pick for next year, you would pick KL Rahul and Nicky Puran.
Absolutely,
right? Those would be your retentions.
Absolutely, and and if you've got Mayank at a steal, you don't want to let that bloke go.
True.
In a hurry, if he's fit and raring to go, he'll command huge money.
They'll all be after
so
him.
you get him in your uncapped.
So maybe you keep him in your uncapped. You can keep him as a retention, but there are options there. Look, Stoinis he's just one of those cricketers to me that it can be very frustrating to watch because you know he's got ability, an enormous amount of talent, and just sometimes it just frustrates you to watch him. And I think that's my only point with him. I've seen him play some unbelievable innings, and he bowls a heavy ball, decent medium pacer, 3rd, 4th seamer, but it can at times just be a little bit frustrating to watch. The one thing I don't want them to do at Lucknow is pigeonhole Nicholas Puran as a finisher. He's a better player than that. He's such a better player than that.
We've been saying it from the first day. Play him at 4.
He could bat 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I think he's talented enough to do that. But don't just sort of pigeonhole him as a finisher. Leave him till that 13th, 14th over. You just get him in there. Give him time to bat because he can bat.
Yeah, and he's been doing it at a strike rate of 200 and he's been getting the runs. Yeah, he got a duck in the previous game, but that just means that he's going to get a big score in this one. I'm telling you. That's just the way it rolls, man. You saw what happened with Surya. He's going to do exactly this, Nicky Puran today. All right, let's have a look at the Knight Riders team. They, of course, are bowling first. So all of you, just sit down, calm down. Yes, there's no Rinku Singh in that team, but he's going to come in when they bat. So don't worry about that. Harshit Rana is fit, so he's come in. There's Harshit Rana, Vaibhav Arora, so 2 Indian young guns. Of course, Mitchell Starc is there. Then Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan, and Dre Russell. They've got good bowling options, but as you were saying, Gilly, yesterday, this is an important game for Mitch Starc. He's playing 5 at home. For his confidence will do a world of good because they played 1 game at home. They won it, but he was expensive. He got a half century. That he went for 50, right?
Yeah.
Close to 50, I think, or 50. So yeah, today will be a big day for him. Bowling first, he'll want to check in.
Oh, most definitely, and rest assured, everything he's achieved, World Cup wins, Ashes, World Test champion, it will be playing on his mind. Even all the experience that he has and has garnered over the time, coming with that price tag and expectation, the professional in him will want to come out and do a job.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset and mind game for him. But and whether it's the damage that he does at the top, I think it's in that opening spell where he needs to try to just be as controlled as possible. And if he gains confidence out of that, he'll then have impact late in the game with the ball just that little bit softer and attacking those stumps. But if he starts searching for that swing and the radar's not on, there's enough quality players around the IPL that will, as has been proven, will capitalise on it. So he's got to be on his game.
My issue with Starc is that I don't think he uses the short ball enough. I've always thought that the last 3, particularly in this tournament, it's dangerous short ball. If he gets it right, I mean, you kind of know, if you're the opposition batter, you kind of know the first 2 balls are probably going to be the attempted in-swinging Yorker. Yeah. Just get one through the lid, early doors, first, second ball, maybe second ball, I don't know, but just use it. And if he can find that line and length, he's got genuine gas. He's a really good bowler, but I think sometimes he's just a little predictable in this format of the game. But, don't be afraid to throw a bouncer in there second ball. Yeah, get the bloke going, hang on a minute, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, when we're watching him, like even when I watch him on the telly and you'll be able to tell us better as a batter, there's just something, it's his height, the fact that he's got that jump, so it's not just the angle, it's also the height from which he releases it. And of course you're left-handed, but as a right-hander, I'm guessing when it's just kind of coming a little over your shoulder, unless you don't open up, that fear can be pretty real, that it's just going to knock your side out.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and it is. I guess he knows he's basically got 12 deliveries at the top of an innings to try and capitalise on a brand new ball, and what has always been such a vitally important strike weapon in his armoury is attack those stumps and swing it, and even to the left-hander, maybe take it away and get the edge. So that's the balance of trying to play to your strength but not become predictable. And we've seen Aurora, who did a great job. Against he used the short ball with great effect against DC. He's not express. He's nowhere near the pace of Mitchell Starc, but to use the surprise element of the short ball, and that's something that maybe even Mitchell Starc can take notice of a young guy that's nowhere near the experience. There's the stats there for the right armour. Aggressive by nature, I noticed watching those games. I like the fact that even against Chennai, he knocked over Dubé and game was over, but he gave him a good old sort of glare and a couple of words. So, put that in the bank for later on, mate. I'm not lying down here.
I like that. I like that because he was just doing it against the team that gives no reaction to anyone. Right? I love that from Vaibhav. He says, I'm still going to do it. And Dubé is just like, he just walks off because nobody in Chennai gives you any reaction to that. But Vaibhav, tell us what you have found impressive about Vaibhav with his kind of action, line length. Yeah,
again, he uses his height well, and that's why the bouncer causes a bit of trouble, I think, because it actually gets steep. It gets really steep on you, and Gilly will probably tell you, sometimes the short, skiddy bouncers and the taller guys that get that extra bounce are probably the harder ones to face, the 6'6", 6'7", Harmison, those sort of guys, or even someone like Danny Morrison in his heyday, so short and skiddy, it kind of just kept coming at you. The short, skiddy one, or the really tall guy that just gets that extra bit of bounce, they can sometimes be the issue. And Vaibhav Arora has been good. He can swing the new ball. He's got good cutter as well, which has been nice. So he's impressive, but he's just one of a number of really good, tall right-arm seamers around the country at the moment. India are producing there's a lot of talent. They just got to nurture it in the right way. There's some really good young fast bowlers coming through the ranks.
I love that about Danny Morrison, short and skiddy and coming at you, and that's not just him bowling; it's him in real life as well, right? Just always coming at you. But just on the point of Indian bowlers, they've got Harshit Rana, they've got Vaibhav Arora, and Gilly, you and I were having a chat last night about just the positive of having a seasoned Indian coach there who knows the domestic circuit well. Just helps you kind of pick up these, diamonds from the rough, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right from the outset of the IPL back in 2008. It's about that balance, isn't it? About the value of bringing in the international talent, but then blending that in with the Indian talent, of which there's really 2 or 3 sort of levels of Indian talent. There's the Indian internationals, and there's the experienced domestic players that haven't played and then there's the rookies. Those rough diamonds that have turned up from being net bowlers and all of a sudden they're in an IPL game. So how do you harness all that energy that's there? How do you communicate? I mean, it's tough within the Indian guys, I remember. We spoke, I think, earlier, a couple of nights ago, about the winning an IPL and what it means. And I said it was as fulfilling as anything I'd achieved in cricket as a captain, because you feel like you're CEO of a business. You've got owners and chair people that way, and then you've got sort of staff, for want of a bit of a term, that way, and you're the conduit trying to bring it all together, and you've got 6 different nationalities, 7 different languages. Well, we had Herschel Gibbs in there. I don't know what language he spoke, but you're trying to blend it all in, and that's I think what KKR did with that appointment of an Indian coach who had success at domestic level. All the international guys would have been coming in from overseas going, I don't know this guy. He's not Stephen Fleming or Justin Langer or all these big Andy Flower. But so then, and once you get to the playing 11, I always thought that your 4 overseas players, you cancel each other out. A couple of the international Indian players. So it's what value you get out of those 2 or 3 local Indian unknown talented players that can be the difference.
It's really worked actually for the Knight Riders, you can tell. And it's interesting that Gilly named 3 players, all 3 left-handed batters. I see this. I see. He's subliminally taking us towards his side. These mind games. These mind games. But Dooley, are you surprised though? I'm just going to stay on this for a second. Are you surprised though that a lot of Indian teams, they all have Indian scouts, right, who are scouring the whole domestic circuit to bring them in? Are you surprised they don't have a lot more Indian coaches who are working in tandem with, whoever the head coach is? But because there are just so many Indian players in the team, just to kind of bring the best out of them.
I think it's vital. I think every team should have an Indian coach of some sort. If it's not the head coach, then it should be a batting, bowling consultant at least, or an assistant coach. And I think if you're going to develop your Indian talent, I mean, at times, and some of these young men have been picked up from some faraway areas, and so English is certainly not their first language, and not great on some occasions. So you need that sort of point of contact from your head coach to your assistant coach to the young Indian players. And sometimes, the way that some of the guys that we know, the way that they communicate, it might just not get across in the right way to some of that young Indian talent. So I think it's a must. I really do. And it is the Indian Premier League. It really should. And there's that many, how many Ranji Trophy sides? 24 states or 24 teams in the Ranji Trophy, something like that.
Ranji teams, I think, are 27.
27.
Is that correct?
So,
check the number.
30s. So there's so many coaches in and around. I think it's a must that every team should have an assistant or a batting consultant, bowling consultant, something along those lines to make sure that those messages are being communicated properly.
38 is the Ranji teams.
I was more than one short. Jeepers.
But it's a really good point, because your support staff, I mean, you have your international sort of, Hall of Famer, so to speak. And then you have somebody like that. Because I know with GT, as you were speaking, I know Ashish Kapoor is there. Ashish Kapoor is, played for India and, Tamil Nadu boy, and he's kind of...
Sanjay Banga's been in and around, hasn't he, quite a lot.
So they just know that Indian player to unlock. Because the international players, I mean, they know their job. They're going to get it done anyway. So it's these guys. And I think that the Knight Riders have really done that well. Okay, we've got an Ask Cricbuzz live question. And Adam Gilchrist, I think you're best qualified to answer this because it also has your name in it, and for some strange reason, also Sanga's name. He's not here, Pallavi, but okay. You effortlessly scored quick runs when it wasn't quite the trend. Apparently, it wasn't
Effortlessly.
Oh, you're before your time, Gilly.
Yeah, in the early 1940s, when you were playing, wasn't the trend. When you see someone like KL Rahul struggling with strike rate, what's your advice to him?
Yeah, it seems an ongoing discussion, doesn't it? And his strike rate the other evening was up around 170 odd, so that shows a step in the right direction to morph and evolve with the modern game of T20, if we can say that. It's only, the IPL's 16 years or so old. So I look at his stats. And I did write them down, and I've left them out the back. But anyway, I'll think about it. Well, here's these stats for the last 5 years. But his career stats across T20 cricket, or IPL cricket, 123 games, I think it was, averages 46 at a strike rate of 134.
Okay.
So when you start doing that blended sort of arithmetic of strike rate and average, I mean, I think early in the IPL, about 160 was where you started saying, okay, average and strike rate together gets 160. They're the good players. There's no doubt. Well, he's now at 180. Blended.
Basra.
I think we're seeing it morph more towards at least a blend of 190. Maybe it'll end up at 200, that average and strike rate blended together. Look at Dre Russ. He's around similar amount of games. He's averaging 26 or 27, strikes at 175. He's the benchmark of going in and impacting. Different player roles, I know. But so my advice for KL would be, sit down. You don't want to delve into your stats too much. Don't overanalyse it. Generally, the team's been winning. You've been at this franchise a couple of years. You made the finals both times. But that average, maybe if you're happy enough to risk, to play more aggressively to get your strike rate up, the average might come down because it's a risk and reward thing. So if he can get another, say, 20 units onto that strike rate and have it up around 155, 160, even if it means shaving 10 off the average, you're starting to move into the required rate now where the game's moved to. So, and that's just a little mindset.
Yeah.
And also the other big key point, say, letting him learn as a very experienced player now, the game has evolved with this impact player. Don't feel you have to be there at the end.
Great point.
If you're getting out with a greater impact around 15, 16, if you can go at a high strike rate till the end, we're all winners. But don't panic that you've let the team down by getting out at 16 trying to dong one over the fence.
There's enough.
There's someone coming in there underneath you who is going to come in and probably enjoy 10 balls and probably go at 220.
And I think most of the teams are getting that from 6, 7 and 8 now, and that's despite the top order failing. So he can look at all this kind of empirical data just from this tournament and see that there's always a rescue act. It was one for his team a couple of nights ago. So they may not have won that, but they did get to some respectability with Ayush Badoni and Arshad. All right, we've got the most respectable part of our show now, which is the joy factor question. Because, this one is always a bit of a doze. One sec. Identify the next name on this list. Virat Kohli, Mitch Marsh, Unmukh Chand, Eden Markram.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, straight away.
Next name on this list.
Really?
Well, I'd have to think of the name, but I know who they are. And I know what they did.
Yeah, I reckon I might know too, but...
Yeah.
Is it a youth type situation?
Yeah.
I think it's a youth type situation.
What?
A youth, age cricket. Because Unmukh Chand's not played any senior cricket, so that's the one in there that is sort of taking me towards there.
Correct.
Okay, could be. I don't know. Do you know? If you know, tell us hashtag Joy Factor on Cricbuzz Live. You can tweet at us on X. All right, quickly, score predictions before we go Lucknow. Batting first, Eden Gardens.
Day game.
Okay.
Flat wicket. Who's going first?
You have gone first.
Go okay, great. I'm going 191.
Okay. 207.
Big.
Hang on, who's batting first again?
Lucknow. KL.
He's going to.
Really got nervous. This game's making him nervous.
He's tuning in too. He took my advice. I'm going bigger. I'm going big day out from Nicky P's going to come. I'm going to go 212.
212. Just 212, 27. Do you think I should adjust up a little bit? No, I'm good. Let me not get greedy. 191. So I'm going to stick at that. All right, well, that's all we have for you on Cricbuzz Live. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox and see how it's going. Lucknow and Knight Riders playing. KKR winning the toss at home and putting Lucknow into bat. That's, of course, the first game. We've got 2 games today, so we're going to be here with you all day, streaming live and free worldwide. Tell your friends in Madagascar. Goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad 50 एक्सप्रेस गौरवती स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दें